The Twilight Zone is perhaps one of the most famous of all television shows. Hosted and created by Rod Serling, it's the go to TV show whenever you feel like watching something strange, something macabre, something from the unknown. But how exactly did Rod Serling came up with the Twilight Zone? Well, the Philippines actually has something to do with it, and this is the story.
The word that Mrs. Bronson is unable to put into the hot, still, sodden air is doomed. Because the people you've just seen have been handed a death sentence. 1 month ago, the Earth suddenly changed its elliptical orbit, and in doing so began to follow a path which gradually, moment by moment, day by day, took it closer to the sun.
The Twilight Zone. It's the television show that left an indelible mark on popular culture, inspiring many creative minds to create their own fictional stories.
I see dead people.
But did you know that Rod Serling, its creator and host, drew much of what he wrote for the show from his very real experiences as a World War II veteran during the liberation of the Philippines? After high school, he enlisted in the U.S. Army. In 1944, his unit was headed for the Philippines. Serling served as light infantry in Leyte, but he was transferred to a new squad where the leader told him he didn't have what it takes to be in combat. It was in Leyte where he witnessed a fellow soldier die in an accident. This crucial event made a mark in his writing episodes of The Twilight Zone.
I'm the kind of a guy who is now in that aging late 30, early 40 bracket, in which suddenly there is a tremendous bittersweet, poignant feeling about wanting to go back to another time. In my case, it would be the pre-war, early teens time, which were particularly happy for me.
Wounded in Leyte, Serling was deployed to Tagaytay in 1945, where he marched with his platoon to Manila. There they fought against Japanese forces and eventually took control of the city. During their victory celebration, the Japanese shelled the city.
The enemy started shelling us at Santo Tomas. We saw internees who'd survived the 3 years as prisoners killed by the incoming fire. I'll never forget how the shelling of this non-military target continued for several days while we evacuated the seriously ill and injured.
While in the direct line of fire, Serling valiantly rescued a performer, earning him the Purple Heart, Bronze Star, and Philippine Liberation Medal. Despite the awards, he suffered for years from post-traumatic stress syndrome. This led him to take on writing to get things off his chest, and to heal. His time as a soldier in the Philippines gave him material for a lot of the stories in the Twilight Zone, such as The Encounter, wherein a war veteran revisits his past. If it weren't for Serling's war experiences in the Philippines, could there have been any Twilight Zone show at all? Perhaps the answer lies in The Twilight Zone.
Of course.
I understand. Well, that's the way it goes.